Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Supernatural Saturday. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today I have this being named Hermes with me who wants to lay down the fundamentals of meditation for you in the simplest possible way. It'll take about 5 to 7 minutes to articulate what the fundamentals are. And then from that, we're going to do a very short meditation, very simple meditation on just keeping your awareness in the present moment, keeping your body still, quiet, and peaceful. So, one of the biggest challenges that you are facing as a species today is quite simply this. You do not know how to control your own mind. You have gotten so far away from yourselves that you are almost perpetually distracted by your world and the curious things that you have made in your thinking process. This separation causes great anxiety and fear, for you have moved away from the life that you were given to live. You've moved away from the life you were given to live, distracted by your senses, denying the truth and the wisdom that is inherent in your nature, not in your thoughts. The truth that is inherent in your nature, not in your thoughts. This process that you have heard called meditation is not a complex process at all. It is a very simple process. The difficulty that many of you face in comprehending this thing that you think is so mystical called meditation is that it ends your mind. It stops your mind from thinking. It stops you from being separate. It does that, meditation. It stops your thinking mind. It stops you from being separate. And your thinking mind in the moment of silence thinks that it is dead. And it is dead in that sense that it is silent. But it distracts so many of you from yourselves, from your life, from what you are here to truly do, to understand, to know, to be. Your confusion will end where your silence begins. The surety with which you can live your life from this place that you truly do live in, the silent place, the beautiful, beautiful silent place. To look upon your world from this place of silence is a most wondrous experience. It's what made life so delightful and, might I say, tempting for you so many thousands of years ago. Your mind has become to be known as this thing you call ego, which simply denotes separation, manifestation of two separate lives from one, that which you have made up because of the functions of the senses, and that which you are, which is lost in them. But meditation is very simple. It is returning yourself, to your source, to a place where, while I say it is silence, it is where you will hear all, know all, see all. And in that place, you have no need for an ego. You have no need for separation, because in this place of silence, there is truly wonder. Wordless, remarkable wonder. And is that not beautiful? Wordless, remarkable wonder. Can you imagine? And that is where you live in truth always? You have been so separate from your silence for so long that you attempt to return to it each night. You put that form to bed, you put it asleep, when in reality you simply leave the house to get away from the distractions of a divided house. Meditation, the process of returning back to everything. The process of returning back to everything is very, very simple. We work with this one quite regularly in this process of meditation. And there has not been one that has come to us that has not learned the fundamentals of returning home, of understanding the beauty of that place, of being infinite silence, infinite love, infinite possibilities. The true nature of what you are resides in silence. And many have learned this over these last few years. We've been working with this one. And there is great freedom and great delight in this. So returning yourself to silence, letting your distractions abate, giving your body and mind permission to take a rest from your, let me say, your seductions to it. It is time to give yourself a rest. And this rest will be most beautiful because you will not be asleep in this rest. You will awaken in this rest. Meditation is about awakening. It is not about going to sleep. It is about awakening. Being more awake than you can ever imagine. Again, you attempt this in small measure when you lay that body down, because both it and you are exhausted from the distractions of what you call the mind or the ego, this element that keeps you separate in fragments, thinking you are a body, thinking you have thoughts, thinking you have emotions, thinking you are something else. This illusion of separateness ends in silence. And in that silence begins bliss, begins freedom, begins your creation, begins your most wondrous life. The choice of what you will be. The choice was already established when you became a being. And when you entered this world with a clarity of who you are, an absolute certainty of who you are. And as you got distracted by the world, you turned away from yourself and you were offered a gift. You were offered the gift of a personality. You were offered the gift of separation. And from a place of love, you chose that gift and you accepted it. The name you were given, the identity you've been given, who you think you know and who you think you do not know, what you think is true and what you think is false. You accepted the gift of separation for the very reason that you could surrender it when you realized it was unnecessary. That separation simply causes continual and perpetual suffering. And so each time you put that body to sleep, you attempt to end your separation, but it is very temporary. And so in this day, we offer you very simply a process of learning to return to the silence. Only in silence will you find your truth, the being that is you, the beautiful, wondrous you. The confusion in your mind is not because of you. It is because you recognize the distinction between who you are and who you are not. And the two are very confusing. One is very limited with very small range of expression and capability, whereas your true nature is one of a limitless kind. The understanding that your capacity to create, to manifest, to become, to be is without limit and restrictions. And we have watched with interest over these last 5,000 years how you have pushed forward with small innovations here and small innovations there to make your life better than what it was when you were in Eden. And it has not worked. You are struggling even more now. And you think that the ending of the body will resolve your separateness, and it will not. The body is simply the vehicle through which you came to manifest your expression in a limitless fashion, in a wondrous fashion, in a respectful fashion, in a way that honored and ennobled the life that is in thee, which is also in all others. So please allow me to explain the simple steps of returning to the silence where all truth resides, where all knowledge exists, all knowledge, not little parts of it like your science grasps with desperate hands. In this place of true silence, all knowledge exists, not some, all knowledge exists. The limitless possibilities that are available to you as a creating entity is not in your small mind, it is in the silence. And so let us tell you a few things so you can consider them, and then perhaps you'll join us for, if only but a few minutes, that you can take this few minutes, this little seed that I will give you today, this little tiny seed, that if you take it and you nurture it and you apply it and you give it your love and your light, which is your attention, and you do this, this seed will germinate. And if you continue to gently give it your affections and your attentions, it will begin to blossom and grow. It is a most wondrous thing. What you call meditation is not a mystical or special process. It is natural state of being when you are in alignment with your state of being. In separation, you have fear. In separation, you have suffering. In separation, you have uncertainty. In separation, you have anxiety. In separation, you have depression. In this place of silence where all truth resides, there is no suffering. There's simply the bliss of being. And from there, you may take a little and come into this world and go back and bring a little more. And slowly you return and restore heaven to your life and to your world. It is a simple process of then taking what you are given and putting it into this world, taking what you are, integrating it into this world without the fear and judgment that so many of you do this with, the fear that you might die, and so you try to create something in this world that might make you live longer, but you have infinite life within you. You are eternal life. Your nature is that you are eternal life. And to come to a place of knowing that is pure peace. And then to be able to take that peace and articulate it in your expression, what a world you can make. What innovation you can manifest that would make life absolutely delicious and delightful, not fearful and fretful, not an attempt to avoid the nature of what matter is, not an attempt to avoid or deny life or light. And so there are simple things, not difficult things, very simple things that for your mind will be difficult because your mind does not understand what is not contained within it. It only understands what what is contained within it. Whereas you can stop your thoughts. You can stop your thoughts with a single breath. You can stop your thoughts and begin to know and remember the peace that is you. When you stop your thoughts, there is something very interesting that begins to happen. When you decide, I will not think these thoughts, I will be in silence. Well, this thing that you call your personality, what has been fondly called the ego in your last 2 centuries, this component of separateness between you and yourself, this component of separateness, when you start to return to silence, will try to fight for its life, believing that it is life. Well, I can assure you that your ego is not life. It is simply a collage of information interacting with the consciousness of your body to give itself the illusion that it is somehow something different than what you are, that it is somehow more powerful than the world around it. Yet this simple thing is responsible in its separateness for all the suffering, all the war, all the needlessness that has occurred in human expression and experience. And when you turn to it and say, be still, be silent, when you turn to it and say, be still, be silent, and you can do this even now while I speak, you can please breathe deeply and be willing to liberate your thoughts as you exhale. Give your thoughts permission to be still, to become quiet, to become open and receptive. Give them permission to do this. At the beginning of the relinquishing of thought, it may try to fight with distraction. I hear this, I smell this. What is this? What is that? It will seek to fight to maintain its noisy self. And it can fight with all of the knowledge that it has acquired from many lifetimes to try and stay in control of you. I encourage you, when you begin this process, before you begin to take some of this stuff, water, and drink some of your water. You're going to need it, because when you begin to request your mind to be still and your body to be still, when you do this, like a fish out of water, it will try to flop and flounder. It will seek to garner your attention with distraction. It's really quite a funny thing. But in the process of breathing slowly and giving your thoughts, your mind, your body permission to be still, to be quiet, to become open and receptive to your awareness, to give it permission to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness. And your only function in this is to simply let the mind fall silent and the body remain still. And in that, you will begin to find relief. When your mind is not saying, but what about this, and what about that, and what about those things, and what about tomorrow, and what about before? When your mind is not distracting you, thusly, you move into silence. And silence is everything other than what your mind is thinking. It's everything other than what your body is hearing or smelling or touching or tasting. In that silence is the beginning of your truth, the beginning of your freedom, the beginning of rediscovering who and what you truly are as an entity of consciousness that came here out of curiosity at wondering what it is like to experience that form or this form or that form. And so for many millions of years on this world, many of you have become ensnared in matter, have created vast civilizations to try and rise above the rest of the world in an attempt to return to yourself by manipulating the outside world without any significant success. And I've been through multiple civilizations like this where you have created great cities and great technologies in an attempt to rise above what you call the death of matter, in the hopes that you could restore eternal life to yourself. And yet the nature of what you are is eternal life. And it can be found through the simple process of beginning to get your mind still and quiet, open and receptive to your awareness. Can you imagine being free without having to harm another creature upon this planet, without thinking you have to destroy matter to liberate yourself to freedom of being? That getting more will somehow give you freedom, it has never worked, not in thousands and thousands of years. Getting more stuff from the earth, destroying this life or that life in an attempt to get eternal life has never worked. And you are trying this again now. I laugh. When I came to this one, I laugh. Here they go again, I said to him. Here they go again, seeking to control life in order that they can have it more abundantly, but you already have it eternally within you. And if you restored yourself to that state, then this whole thing of aging and death and dying become insignificant in the truth that you are eternal and immortal. Death and dying are insignificant when you are eternal. But how do you come to that understanding? You will not come to that understanding by killing the life forms of others or by manipulating them. You will find it in the silence of your being, in the silence of your being. And so please continue to breathe. And as you breathe, give your thoughts, give your memories, give your concerns about the future permission to be still. Let them go. You shall not die, you shall rise up. You shall not die when you have no thoughts and no thinking. When you lose your attachment to that form, much as you would when you attempt to return home each night when you put that body to rest and that mind to rest. But many of you have minds that are so strong, egos that are built on the understanding that somehow they are finite and will therefore try to compete for your attention to be more alive than even you are. But the very nature of your ego is that it gets its life from you. It doesn't get its life from this world. It doesn't get its life from this body. It gets its life from you. And so in this simple process of breathing, you give your thoughts permission to be still. And each breath, as you do this, you give your body, your thoughts, permission to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness. It is a very simple process, a very, very gentle and quiet process. If you are able to understand what I'm saying, then the less you hear your thoughts, the more you begin to hear and see other than what your mind and your body see and hear and know. The ability you have to deliberately and patiently silence your mind comes in your breathing, comes in your breathing. And so while we go forward in this today, please understand that when you surrender your thoughts, you return yourself to your life. You do not move away from it. When your body and your mind are your servants and no longer your master, you return to a place of silence wherein all truth resides, all knowledge resides, all wisdom resides. Your little personality contains so very little of the truth of life's mysteries. Your little minds that seek to build great ships and write great books, those little things are so small compared to what you can truly know and understand. And what wonders you see that men have made are very small, infinitesimal pieces of infinite possibilities available to each of you. And there's not one among you that if you were able to grasp one straw of real truth, real knowledge, real wisdom from that place of eternal silence, that would not rejoice, for your life will change when you can open to the truth that is within you, when you can open to the light that is what you are. And so continue this process of breathing, giving your mind permission to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness, to give your mind permission to be still. Repeatedly, simply not giving attention to any of the thoughts or memories or considerations that your mind is constantly bombarding you with in your normal waking day. And the process of meditation in the fashion I'm describing today is very simple. When a thought comes to you, just do not pay it heed. Pay attention to your breath. Pay attention gently to your breath. For it is in the breath where you instruct body, you instruct matter to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive. In your use of breath, this is what you do. You open your body to be quiet and still through your breath. You open your mind to be still and quiet. And each breath you breathe, you give permission to your body to relax, to be still, to give all the body permission to be still, quiet, open, and receptive to your awareness. You give your thoughts permission to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive to your awareness. You give it permission. Give it permission. And each breath you're continually giving the body, the mind, permission to be still. You remind it repeatedly, be still. You use your breath gently, not like force, gently. You use it as a gentle force to allow the mind and body to be still, to become open and receptive to your awareness. When you entreat your body thusly and you entreat your mind in this way, they literally open up. They open up from limitation, from what is already known to them. You open them up to receiving inspiration, wisdom, love, truth, compassion, kindness. You open these mechanisms up to that process. You open them up. And as they begin to become still and quiet, peaceful, open and receptive, you as awareness become liberated from them. And for some of you, your mind and your body might be like flypaper, and they want to keep active, and they want to keep you busy, and they want to distract you. And I encourage you to continue to use your breath gently. Gently use your breath. And say to that mind and body, if it is remaining active, be still, Relax, be still. I give you permission to relax, to be still, to be silent. You give your mind permission. You give your body permission repeatedly till it understands and learns and accepts what you're offering it. For your mind and body in peace find great renewal. In that place of peace, your mind and body will find renewal, as will you. As will you find renewal in this place of peace. As you will find renewal in this place of peace. And the process is repeated to keep your body, your mind still quiet, open, and receptive to your awareness. This is not very difficult and does not require many years of training or years of a special diet or years of special movement with your body to begin this process of restoring yourself to yourself. This method is for anyone seeking to return to the truth of who they are, to liberate themselves from their suffering, the suffering that their mind inflicts, the suffering that the body inflicts, mostly because of not understanding the nature of who you are. You think that greater pleasure from this world by acquiring that you will find more happiness, and you will not. We have observed it so frequently, how so many of you try to acquire more from this world to feel more of who you are, and always the opposite resides. Afterwards, you feel less than. You've acquired more, but you have less. But in this place, I can assure you, when you liberate yourself from mind and the distractions of the form, you will add to yourself in a way that this world can never add to you. You will afford yourself wisdom and knowledge that is beyond what your mind and this world can ever offer you. You may restore yourself to your peace. And from that place of who you truly are, you will offer to this world wonderful things, wonderful understanding, wonderful truth, the simple things of what love does. What does peace walk like? What does peace speak like? How does love speak? How does love act? With all knowledge and all wisdom available, you do not need so much from this world, but you would have much to offer it. Right now, you are still in the stage of thinking you have to acquire from this world. You have to make things up in order to acquire what you already possess. You're seeking eternal life, but eternal life is within you. It is not to be found in the temporary, which is what this world is. You came here to experience the experience of matter, time, and space. And through no fault of your own, you got lost in it. And now you seek to become free of it, to watch the wonders of what you are unfold. And so let us go on this journey for a few minutes, as I promised you. Let us go on this journey for a few minutes together. It is very simple to just gently keep your body still and quiet, to give the form that you inhabit, that you utilize in your journey in this world, in this time, in this space. Use your breath to give it permission to be completely and fully relaxed. Use your breath to do this. You breathe in, and you release your breath. And as you release your breath, you give the form, the body, permission to be still, to be relaxed, to be peaceful. And each breath you take thusly, you allow that body to be more open, more receptive, more relaxed. giving it permission, all of the muscles permission. From the top of that head to the tips of the toes, from the front of that body to the back of that body, from one side to the other, you give all contained within the body permission to relax, to be still, to be open and receptive to your awareness. You give it permission. Each breath you draw in, you release and allow the form to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive. Every muscle, every nerve, every organ, every gland, with each breath, giving them permission to relax, to be open and receptive to your awareness. Each breath giving your body that permission to be still, to be open and receptive. And you continue this process of breathing, allowing the muscles to relax more fully and more completely. And knowing as you breathe each time, you give the body further permission as you release breath from it to go deeper into this relaxed state. You are teaching the body to mimic a state that you call sleep, so that it is deep in relaxation. And then the most exciting part of the journey begins when you turn your attention to the place where there is thought, where there is memory, where there is future consideration swirling around in the form of thoughts, memories, images, emotions. You turn your attention to those. And likewise with the body, you breathe into the space of where all those thoughts, memories, and future considerations exist. You breathe into that space. And you fill that space with your breath. And when you exhale, you give all those thoughts, all those memories, all those future considerations permission to be still. You give your thoughts permission to be still as you exhale. And so now your breath serves two functions, that of keeping the body still, quiet, open, and receptive, and that of, as you exhale, releasing all thought, all memory, all future considerations, and returning your awareness to the silence of the present moment. Now you are using your breath deliberately as a tool, restoring body to silence, restoring mind to silence, liberating your awareness from their distraction, but also becoming more aware of yourself as that which observes the body relaxing, observing the thoughts, memories, future considerations, becoming quieter, calmer, and more peaceful as you exhale from the body. Each exhale is your deliberate and loving assertion for mind to be still, body to be still. Each breath allowing them to become quieter, calmer, and more peaceful. You will begin to feel, as they become quieter and calmer, a gentle buzzing in your body, a tingling throughout it. This is because as you get your body and your mind quiet, calm, and peaceful, the energy of your body begins to vibrate without distraction. Its energy begins to expand, and your awareness is now becoming the master of the temple, the director of mind and matter. As your mind and body get quieter with each breath, as you draw your breath in, and you release thought, memory, emotion, and tension from the physical body, the energy coming into the body, the tingling, the increased vibration, is the liberation of your soul in its authority over mind and body. You're feeling an increase in your energy as the unnatural stresses of the mind are liberated from the body. You feel the body's energy increase. This tingling sensation that you feel is a process of the body beginning to restore itself, to realign itself to the higher vibrational nature of what you are as a sentient being, as a soul, as a divine entity. As your mind and body become more open and receptive to your awareness, they are beginning to be restored to you. They begin to become restored to you, and you can feel the vibrations changing in the body as the mind gets quieter, as the body becomes more open and receptive to your awareness. It's very natural and normal that you'll experience a well-being awakening in the body. And even as the mind gets quieter, calmer, and more peaceful, your energy will increase even more. There is a deliciousness in the silence that is felt by both mind and body, that you are now deliberately restoring to your temple, if I may say that. That your body and your mind are a divine temple. And that through this simple process, you begin to restore yourself to the silence. And in the silence, when your mind is truly still, and if you are persistent, no matter what your current state of mind is, you will begin to feel yourself restored as the mind begins to surrender, become still and quiet through your gentle insistence through breath, giving it permission to not think, to not remember, to not consider or weigh or analyze, to simply give your mind permission to be still, to be quiet, to be peaceful. Even your mind and body will delight in this. And you will feel more of who you are than you ever will when lost in thought, when lost in the senses. Although you will feel that your senses are more vibrant and alive because you are becoming alive. You're lifting yourself up out of the dead. In your mind by yourself, you are dead and know it not. When you rise above it and you give your mind, your body permission to be still, to be quiet, to be open, to be receptive to your awareness, you rise up. And I can assure you, your mind, through persistence of this, your mind will gratefully come to a place where it says, yes, please, give me rest. Your mind will say this. Your body will say, yes, please, give me this time. Give me this silence. Give me your life. This is what your body will say to you. This is what your mind will say to you. I enjoy this vibration of peace. I enjoy this vibration of stillness. This is the beginning of restoring yourself. It is just a beginning, but it is the beginning. The simple process of breathing and giving your body and your mind permission to be still, to be open and receptive to your awareness. There is wondrous delight, a new awareness that you begin to become familiar with, that is who you truly are. My goal here today was quite simple, to give you the opportunity to restore yourself to the silence that contains all wisdom and all knowledge and all truth. For you to find your life again, to be resurrected in who you are as a being, as an awareness, as a soul, as a sentient entity here, to articulate matter very differently than it can on its own, to have the experience of creation independent of that which created you. This is the beginning step. And for those of you, I encourage you to remain for as long as you can in this process of simply breathing and giving your mind and body permission to be still, to be quiet, to be open and receptive, to repeatedly give your mind and your body permission to be still, to be open and receptive. And as you observe them becoming quieter and quieter, be aware of how you, as awareness, begin to feel. There is a feeling that you will certainly know that is more life than the life that you have known, that this vibration of being what you are, free from thought, but free to utilize it. In those moments, you begin to feel more alive than you may have ever felt in your life. We will take a couple of questions, and then we will leave this with all of you to explore, to delight in the process, to delight in your process of liberation, of freedom. For when your mind and body are still and quiet, you shall come to life again. You shall rise from the ashes of the old self as an awareness, free from the world, free to bring to the world something that you've never brought to the world before. But that is something we shall perhaps return to you and discuss another day. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's meditation. I hope you enjoyed it. We're just going to take a couple of questions now. I have with me Hermes. And Hermes, long before Master Jesus, Hermes had mastered the art of alignment to the divine. And many others before him and many others since him have aligned to the divine. He said this was the simplest process to share with you. And we'll take a couple of questions and then we're going to head out. Question from Jana. Does the hot bath sweating help to make for better conductivity in the body? Does it help in the process of receiving higher vibrations? Thank you very much. No, this process is more beneficial for the removal of elements in your body that may be impure to the vibrational frequencies you are seeking to bring in. You may incorporate what I have described to you to do earlier. You may incorporate that in that process to enhance that liberation of toxicity from your body. The process, as you know, of inducing the body to sweat is simply a mechanism for purging it of things that it no longer requires, but it also removes entities and organisms from the body that no longer are needed. But you may use that process of breathing to enhance that release. For where there's less resistance, there is more life. Where there's less resistance, there is more life to flow through that body when it has no resistance. When the mind is still and quiet, there is no resistance to your life flowing into this body. And your intention to heal, your intention to be whole is very pure. Stay true to this, for you are on the right pathway to this understanding that I've shared with you today. But that process of breathing will certainly enhance the liberation of these things from your body. But there is not one among you that cannot do this. There is not one among you that cannot do this. Even you who may think that you are beyond hope, if you begin this process, you will begin to rediscover hope, that the hope is within you. Even that process of simply giving your body and your mind permission to be still and quiet, and to gently usher that into them, to say, shh. As you give your mind and body permission to be still, to be open and receptive to you, you will begin to feel something new. You'll begin to feel something new, which is really not new at all. It's just something you'll be recognizing that is who you are. But anyone can do this. Question from Sunny. Is my son picking up on my thoughts? Curious to ask if I need to set boundaries so he doesn't pick all thoughts. Thank you. A great question, Sunny. One of the things that I was taught was that children between the ages of 0 and 5 do not understand language. They understand images. They see pictures that their parents hold in their mind's eye. So a parent may say, think to their child who's going towards a coffee table to touch something they know could hurt the child. And the parent says to the child, do not touch that. And the child looks up at them and touches it anyway. And it's not because they're disobeying the parent. It's because the parent in their mind's eye transmitted an image of them seeing the child touching that. And the child responds to the images, not the words. They don't respond to the language. They respond to images in the beginning. It isn't until they begin to have language programmed into their mental field that they then begin the process of recognizing what thought means. But between 0 and 5, children understand images. They do not understand thought. They understand images. And a lot of parents could do really well if they understood that. They could hold images in their mind for their children that would be really amazing. Teach them very differently. Yes, that was that was taught to me by Metatron a long time ago. That children between 0 and 5 learn from images, not from language. I got time for one more question. Hello, Faridiba. Wonderful. You're welcome, Kira. Well, that's, I guess, it for today, guys. I want to say thank you for coming by. I also want to let you know on Monday, I got a group coming in that's going to be talking about the real you, and they're called the Adamics. They'll be coming in on Monday. On Wednesday, there's only some being by the name of Crustacean from Atlantis. His name is Crustacean from Atlantis, and he's coming in. He says there's only 2 types of being, and he's going to discuss that process with us and what happened with Atlantis because of those 2 types of being. And then on Friday, I've got Turn to God or the Quantum Field, and an undisclosed guest that does not wish to reveal himself until next Friday. I want to say thank you, everybody. If you want to support this channel, please go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. Also, please remember to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I want to wish you all much, much love and say thank you so much. And I will see you on Monday on Shortcuts for Your Soul. Bye for now, everybody. Have a wonderful and joy-filled weekend.